the receiver. "Hello," she answered. "Akalakaji, Akalakajo, Carolina Aggies, go, go, go." A loud, boisterous voice chanted through the earpiece. Lewin blinked in surprise. "Monroe? Where are you?" the voice demanded cheerfully. "I mean, where are you calling from?" "Right here in town," Monroe E4 replied smoothly. "I just got in for a convention, and the first thing I said to myself was, I better give old Lewin a call, or she just will not forgive me." Lewin hesitated, a whirlwind of thoughts rushing through her mind. "Well, that is very nice. It is Monroe E. Ford," she whispered to herself, still processing the sudden reappearance of her former flame. "Excuse me, Monroe," she spoke up. "What were you saying?" "I said, where have you been?" Monroe asked. "I thought you got home at 6 o'clock. "Well, yes, but I had a date," Lewin explained cautiously. "Well, listen, I would sure like to see you," Monroe pressed, his confidence radiating through the phone line. "Maybe tomorrow night." "Tomorrow night?" Lewin paused. Her mind flashed back to Gomer's words from the restaurant. "I do not think it is fair to ask you not to date other fellows." A spark of defiance ignited within her. If Gomer wanted her to have her freedom, perhaps she should exercise it. "Well, actually, I am not quite sure. Could I telephone you?" "Yes," Monroe said eagerly. "I am staying at the Millard Fillmore Hotel, room 325. "All right," Lewin said, her voice steady. "And, Monroe, thank you for calling me." Shortly after hanging up, the doorbell rang. It was Gomer, dropping by to say hello. The timing could not have been more poignant. After a brief greeting, Lewin immediately brought up the phone call, her voice carrying a quiet challenge. "Lewin, are you going to see him?" Gomer asked, his eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and hidden hurt. "Do you want me not to see him?" she countered, looking directly into his eyes, searching for any sign of jealousy or possessiveness. Gomer swallowed hard. His noble intentions warred with his genuine affection for her. "Well, I cannot stop you from seeing him if you want to." "I did not say I want to see him," Lewin clarified, her frustration growing. "I want to know whether you want me not to see him." Gomer took a deep breath, sticking to his misguided chivalry. "Well, it is like I said in the restaurant. I do not think it is fair of me to ask you not to see him." He paused, his voice dropping softly. "I was just hoping you would want not to see him, at least as much as I want you not to want to see him." Lewin crossed her arms, her patience wearing thin. "Now, Bowman, since you are not asking me not to see him, and since you seem to be so very anxious for me to have my freedom, it appears that you have left the decision entirely up to me." Chapter 3. The Unwelcome Visitor. The next evening, Lewin was working at her record store. The bell above the door jingled, signaling a customer. She looked up, expecting a stranger, but instead saw Gomer standing there, looking a bit sheepish. "Well, hey, Lewin," Gomer said, offering a small, uncertain wave. "The store is closed," she replied, her tone professional but guarded. "I did not come to buy anything." "Then why did you come?" she asked. "Well, it is Friday night," he offered softly. "So, well, we do have a standing date." Before Lewin could fully respond, the door jingled again. A tall, handsome man with an air of absolute self-assurance strode into the shop. "Hi there," Monroe E. Ford announced. "Anybody home?" Lewin's eyes widened. "Oh, hey, Monroe." Monroe grinned, looking her up and down. "Man, oh man, if you do not look as young as ever and twice as pretty." He then noticed a Marine standing awkwardly to the side. "Oh, Monroe, you do remember Gomer, do you not?" Lewin interjected quickly, the pride of the Marines. "How could I forget?" Monroe laughed, clapping Gomer on the shoulder. "Hi, buddy." "Hey, Monroe," Gomer replied politely, though his heart sank into his boots. "Well, how are we doing this now?" Monroe asked, rubbing his hands together. "Am I taking us all out to dinner?" Lewin looked at Gomer, a flicker of guilt passing over her face. "Well, that would be—" "As a matter of fact, Gomer has to get back to the base," Lewin finished, effectively rescuing them all from the awkward triangle. He just stopped in to say, "Hey, is all." "Oh, well, maybe next time," Monroe said, completely unbothered. "Good night, Gomer," Lou said softly. "Good night," Gomer replied, his voice barely above a whisper. He turned and walked out of the store, feeling completely, utterly lost. Chapter 4. Dear Abby and the Sergeant. Back at the military base, the barracks were quiet. Gomer sat on his bunk, a notepad resting on his knees, a pencil gripped tightly in his hand. He was pouring his heart out onto the paper, trying to make sense of the overwhelming emotions swirling inside his chest. Sergeant Vince Carter marched into the barracks, his sharp eyes scanning the area. He immediately spotted Gomer sitting alone, deeply engrossed in his writing. "Boy, if you were not a sight for sore eyes," Sergeant Carter barked, coming to a halt in front of Gomer's bunk. "Well, I thought you picked up your pass to go into town." Gomer looked up, startled. "Oh, well, I did, Sergeant, but—" "Well, I will come back early." Carter crossed his arms, leaning in closer. "What are you doing, Pyle?" "Oh, I was just writing a letter," Gomer replied innocently. Carter squinted at the paper. "You need a dictionary to write a letter? What is that you got underlined there?" "Dilemma? You got a dilemma?" Carter asked, his curiosity overriding his usual gruff demeanor. "So, who are you writing to?" "Let me see." Carter snatched the paper before Gomer could protest. He read the salutation and let out a loud groan. "You are writing a letter to dear Abby? Boy, Pyle, you know what this is? This is a slap in the face." "You got me," Gomer said apologetically. "A sergeant who has been with you since you came in the Marine Corps, who taught you everything you know, yet you would rather go to a stranger on a newspaper. Dear Abby," Carter complained dramatically, "you would rather discuss your problem with Abby. You do not even know her last name, but you would rather talk to her than your friendly sergeant. Pyle, what do you think I am here for?" "Well, I just did not want to bother you, Sergeant," Gomer said earnestly. Carter sighed, his authoritative tone softening just a fraction. "Pyle, until you leave the Marine Corps, until you leave my command, I am your mama, your papa, your big brother, and your dear Abby. Now, what is your dilemma? Go ahead, tell me your dilemma. Are you sure you want to hear it, Sergeant?" "Sure. Come on, Pyle. Tell Sergeant Abby." Gomer took a deep breath. He needed to organize his thoughts. He mentally listed the events that had led to this disastrous situation. "All right," Gomer began, his voice tinged with sorrow. "You see, it all started the other night when Lou and me were having dinner at this Chinese restaurant. And, well, here, I will just read you what I got so far." Gomer took the letter back and began to read aloud. "Dear Abby, we were just finishing our dinner at this Chinese restaurant. Well, actually, we did not finish it, but we were down to the fortune cookies. And that is what really started the whole thing. Lewin's fortune said something about a loved one making a decision of a lifetime. And we began talking about that, and we had promised we would not talk about that, at least until after I finished my hitch in the Marines. And I just naturally had to tell Lou and exactly how I feel about her freedom, and ask her to give up her freedom, which is not exactly fair. And seeing how I have not made up my mind yet about staying in the Marine Corps, I feel it would be very unfair." Chapter 5. A Deceitful Visit. While Gomer was pouring his heart out to his commanding officer, Lou and Monroe were taking a stroll through the bustling downtown streets. "Yeah, you would hardly recognize the old town," Lou and Monroe observed, looking at the newly constructed buildings. "Supermarkets all over the place and parking meters. The town is just loaded with supermarkets and parking meters." "Oh, really?" Lou replied distractedly. Her mind was miles away, wondering what Gomer was doing, and if he was thinking of her. "Yeah, Lou the town has really grown." Monroe continued oblivious to her distant mood. "They even got 2 laundrettes. 2! Well, can you imagine that?" Monroe stopped walking and turned to face her, his expression suddenly serious. "Doggone it, Lou, are you not ever coming back?" "Really?" I do not see anything happening